You open your eyes and realize you can't remember anything. Your head is pounding from a drunken night that has wiped your memories away clean. You look around a trashed room with your clothes scattered everywhere. A bunch of voices chatter in your head. Some are useful, some are crazy, and you don't know which one to trust. You figure out you're in a place called Revachol, a city scarred by a failed revolution. The people you meet are from a nation that's been through a lot, but with your detective skills and your lawyer partner Kim, you need to solve the mystery of the hanged man in the backyard. This is the beginning of Disco Elysium, a game you need to experience. I'll be describing my favorite parts of the game and what I really liked about it. I'll also be showing gameplay footage, but don't worry, you'll see some characters and locations, but I'm staying away from major story spoilers. Now let's get ready to head into the world of Disco Elysium. The characters are the soul of the game. You'll meet a massive cast of people, from a cynical union boss to cryptid hunters. The most compelling character by far is the one you play as, Harry. Now the genius of the game is that when you wake up, Harry's memories are a total blank. Just like you playing a character for the first time, you don't know anything about Harry. So while you're solving a murder, you're also piecing together what Harry was like before the amnesia. You learn about the train wreck of a person he was by talking to people who knew him in the few days he was in Revachol. Every conversation reveals a bit of his past, from moments about his alcoholism to a failed marriage and a bad reputation that precedes you. However, since this is an RPG, you decide if this new Harry is going to pick himself up and change for the better. My other favorite part about Harry is his psyche, or the voices in his head. They aren't just generic thoughts, they're your skills talking to you. If you have a high logic skill, it'll provide you with brilliant deductions. If you have a high electrochemistry, it'll be like having a psychopath telling you to do unspeakable things in your head. This is great because it lets you play towards a certain archetype. Like having a high empathy character feels very different than having a brute force kind of character, because one listens to the emotions of others while the other listens to more of the physical world. While these voices provide vital insights for situations, you can always choose to ignore them and choose the polar opposite of what they suggest, because it may be better to listen to your gut rather than your head. The people you meet are also interesting in a way where they represent ideologies or lifestyles or even views on history. Take him for example. One of the first things you hear about him defines his character right from the get-go.
If an assault were launched on this building right now, if the windows came crashing down and the whole world descended upon you, this man would hurl himself in death's way to save you. You are sure of this.
You'll find that Kim is your loyal but strict partner. He gets annoyed by your antics, but is always there trying to get you back on track. In a world full of extremists, fanatics, Kim is your anchor. He's one of the few sane people in Revachol, and his grounded presence is something that I cannot underestimate. The visual design for characters is also very cool. The character portraits do so much work. Kim is shown as having a dark background, but near his head shines a halo. This shows that he is almost like a light to your darkness. The visuals of a character tell you everything you need to know about them. Now I'm not going to talk about any more characters because the biggest enjoyment I had playing this game was meeting them for the first time. This is a detective game after all, and I don't want to spoil interactions you could be learning about them the same way I did. What I will say though is that this game makes you feel the emotions and pains of every person you talk to, and also makes you generally care about the world you're in. Okay, so we talked about the characters in the world, but what is Disco Elysium actually like to play? The official description is that it's a detective RPG, and while that's true, it doesn't even come close to describing the experience I had playing the game. Another mystery is at the center of the story, the hanged body in the backyard that you're supposed to solve. It's the reason you're here. But the game differs from a traditional sense of following a linear path of clues. The story allows you to explore different parts of Revachol. Every conversation, every new item you pick up, pulls you into a side story about the people of Revachol. You'll find yourself investigating missing person cases, trying to solve labor disputes, or even trying to open up a lock crate. The game constantly rewards your curiosity by giving you experience, which makes you level up and put points into stats you may need later in the game, or by providing cool new armor, weapons, and items as well. Your primary tool are your words, your institution, and 2 dice. When you need to do something, whether it's convincing a person to tell you the truth or just punching a wall, the game presents to you a skill check. A high physical instrument means that you have an easier time kicking a door, or a high encyclopedia means that you have an easier time learning about characteristics of the world. The system is pretty forgiving. You will fail a lot, but sometimes a failure can often lead to more interesting results than a success. The game embraces failure as a core part of its narrative, which feels like there are no wrong steps, you just take a different path to your destination. And then there's the thought cabinet. As you play through the game and learn more about the world, you, or Perry, starts to have opinions as you lean towards a certain spectrum. You can choose to internalize these ideas, and they range from radical political ideologies to just bizarre obsessions. Once a thought is internalized, it changes you by granting you bonuses and penalties, sometimes just penalties. This allows you to customize the experience of your game by choosing to go to a full extreme onto a certain spectrum, whether it's helpful or not. This is why I like Disco Elysium's story so much. It's not just a linear plot. The game is open to you from the very beginning. Every first player's experience will be different since there are no railways to follow. It could take someone a few days to figure out the mystery of the hanged body, and some other people can breeze through the game in a few hours. This is why it's so difficult to talk about the game without spoiling, as the experience is very personal to each individual, and your path to Revachol won't be the same as mine. What I can tell you though is the experience has stuck with me, and it's one of my favorite narratives I've ever experienced in a video game. So what is Disco Elysium about? Well, it's a detective game with a lot of dialogue, point and clicking, and funny moments. It's a story where the murder is just a backdrop for a look at politics, ideologies, and the human spirits. And it's an RPG where your stats are just numbers on a screen, there are voices in your head arguing about what kind of person you are. Disco Elysium is also a game about hope. It's about enjoying the small moments in the absurdity of the world we live in. This game is a work of art, and it's unlike anything I've ever played before. It's a game that makes you think, makes you laugh, makes you feel things you probably didn't expect. Play the game yourself and figure out what kind of person you are.